Hey guys, two things to tell you in this video. First of all, I've been plant shopping. You're going to see in the rest of the video which plants I bought. And second thing, quite exciting, for the last 2 months roughly, I've had my name on an allotment waiting list. It's less than a 5-minute walk from my house, which is perfect for me. And yeah, the lady did say when I went round to see her to get my name on the list that it's not going to be any time this year. On with the video, let's have a look at what I've been buying. I'm going to need 2 planters for all the plants that I've just bought. The rectangular one is a 50cm pot, and I got that from Tesco's. That was £2.50, and the round one is a 35cm pot, and that was £2 from Tesco's. So have a look in your local Tesco's. They're not bad. They're not the thickest of plant pots I've ever had, but they will do their job. I put down an empty compost bag on the floor, onto which I'm going to make the potting mix that I'll need. It will be compost and grit, because the plants I bought are alpines and succulents, and because of the kind of conditions that they grow in, where they're most happy, it'll be very free draining soil. So that's why I'm going to mix a load of potting grit into this compost mixture. Another thing you can do when you're planting up alpines and succulents is give the top of the soil a covering, a dressing. You can use horticultural grit, you can use decorative gravel, small stones, glass pebbles, you know, that kind of thing. It just stops the plants coming in contact with the wet soil, which these type of plants, alpines and succulents, they're not big fans of that, and the plants will do better if you allow that drainage. Remember, free drainage when you're planting up alpines and succulents. I'm just going to pop a bit of cardboard in the bottom of the pot. You don't have to do this, it's just something I do every now and again when I remember. It's basically just to stop all the soil as it's settling, because it's being filled up for the first time. It's just to stop it all draining out of the holes that I've drilled into the pot. Over time that cardboard will rot away. Now for the stars of the show, those lovely plants. So I've got 2 types of sempervivum. That one's nearly all green, and the next one I got has got some tinges of dark red in there as well. So I like the contrast, they'll look good together. I also got some Armeria, the variety is Armada Rose. Lovely bright pink pom-poms on top of the flower spike. A sedum, variety Coral Carpet. A Saxifraga, or Fraga, don't know how you say it, variety is Carpet Pink. An Echeveria Secunda Glauca. So I've laid out the plants roughly where I want them to be in the pot. What I'm doing now is I'm going to test and adjust the depth of the soil that I've put in there, teasing out the roots as well before I actually come around to planting. As it turns out, I did need to add a little bit more height to the soil in this pot. I wanted them just underneath the base of the plants, just underneath the lip of the pot. So I put some more soil in, and then I'm going to fill around the plants with the same gritty compost mix. In time, I hope to be able to propagate the Armeria by a technique known as propagation by division, where you basically let the main cluster of the plant bulk up, and then you can carefully dig it up when it's dormant and split it, and you'll get 2 plants where you had 1 before. And you pot that one on, and then both plants regrow, and again in time you'll be able to do it again. But certainly the rest of the succulents, like the sempervivum and the echeveria, they're famous for producing what we call pups around the main cluster of each plant, tiny little offshoots which you can pinch out with a little bit of root on, pot them up, and the whole process starts all over again. They'll regrow into big plants, and again as time goes on they will also produce their own little pups for me to be able to propagate. It's really easy. The next lot of plants which I bought are going to go in the big round pot. They're all types of Primula auricula. Now unfortunately none of the varieties at all were labelled, so I've no idea. Each one I got 4 different plants. The main colour is a pinky purple. Apart from this last one, which is grey with just an ever so subtle suggestion of like a lilac in there. I saw it and I thought it was beautiful. Into the pot these go. Now because it's quite a deep pot, I'm not going to fill the bottom part of it with my gritty mix. I'm going to save that for further up the pot where the plant's roots are going to go down. These plants, auriculas, their roots are what they call carrots. It's a funny little nickname for the roots. And when you propagate auriculas by dividing them, and you dig up a clump of auriculas and you separate them, you'll see that they do actually look a bit like carrots. I will put a link for a video I made a few years ago now with Deputy Head Gardener Ruby, my youngest daughter, about how to propagate auriculas. I'm just going to break up these big lumps of compost. They don't need to stay in big lumps like that. You know, I really wish I knew which varieties these auriculas were, but I suppose that's part of the fun of gardening, isn't it? Because now it gives me something to find out. How I'm going to pinpoint which exact varieties they are, but it's probably going to be a lifetime's work. But I love the plants. I love auriculas, so I don't mind. You might have heard of some people display their auriculas in what's known as an auricular theatre, where it's a shelving system, a bit like a bookcase, and each single auricular plant is placed in its own neat little ceramic pot. Doesn't sound groundbreaking, but when you see it done, it's very striking. Looks brilliant, to be honest with you. I've also made a video on this channel called The Meaning of Plants Auricula, so somewhere on here I will post a link for that video. I hope you can make it out. There's a little worm on the label. So into the pot you go. Do your job in that compost for me. Thank you very much. I could have propagated these by division right now, as I'm getting them out of the pots they came from the garden centre in. But no, do you know what? No, I'm just going to leave it. I'll enjoy the flowers. I am aware they are fairly crammed into this pot, so maybe later on this year in the autumn I will then start dividing them and get some separate pots and really start an auricular collection going. But for now I'm going to cram them in and enjoy the flowers while they're there. Time to work round the pot, backfilling with that really gritty compost mix, just to get the soil up to the level of the bottom of each plant, and also fill in the gaps between each of the plants as well. Now it's time for the planting out shot, which seems to have become a bit of a thing in the videos I've made since I moved to this house I'm currently at. When I get an allotment plot, I'll have to think of a new planting out reveal. I don't know, maybe going out of my shed without tripping over the doorway, something like that. Oh, different angle. I don't think I'm going to win any prizes for groundbreaking editing, but different angle nonetheless. Come on. I'll give both pots a good soak, as you should always do when you've just planted something out. Now I'll give you a quick little tour. See, the bluebells are out. Quick little tour of my garden that's all in pots in my alleyway at the back of my house. I don't have a yard, I don't have a garden. Am I allowed to call myself a gardener? Of course I am. Yes, no. Yes, of course I am. When I said it out loud, what a stupid thing. Part of the reason I started this channel was to prove to people you don't have to have a garden to garden. Pots. Doesn't have to be a plant pot. Use an old plastic storage box that you used to keep your kids' toys in. Use tyres. There's all sorts of things you can use to have a garden in. So here's the daffodil, hyacinth, viola. Just showing you I've been deadheading the daffodils there. And in the middle of that pot there's a bleeding heart. My dad came to visit me a few nights ago and he questioned whether they were actually alpine strawberries, but they are. Apart from these ones here, they're 4 Rowena strawberries, which I also got recently. And I'll leave you with these gorgeous tulips. There's also some alliums in there which are yet to open. Gorgeous tulips which I got from my mum's house. Thanks for watching, guys.